if we would have wrote down goals, like we didn't write down goals because to us it just felt kind of obvious. Like, duh, of course we want to win the SEC. Duh, we want to win the tournament because we hadn't done it before. Duh, we want to go to the Final Four. But I think the disconnect for us was realizing, even though we knew we had potential and a great core, great chemistry, guys liked each other, guys that stuck through it, etc. It's human nature is something that always seeps through. No matter what the situation is, no matter how easy things might seem to be, and human nature tells you to relax. It's just going to happen. You don't have to work as hard. You don't have to. And at first, we kind of had that mindset of like it's just going to happen. We had all the things we need. So like, why wouldn't this just happen? It's like this is made for us. And I'm so glad Coach Donovan was able to nip it in the bud for us early in the season and said, you have to put your hard hat on and you have to go to work every day.
Jameel Muhammad and Jeff Cardozo dive into the hobby, which is sports cards, trading cards, as well as all other collectibles, right now on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, live from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Hey, everybody. It is that time once again for the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, coming at you from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill inside the podcast room. I am Jeff Cardozo. He is Jameel Muhammad, and we are at episode 24.
Wow.
Last week, 23 was obviously the Jordan episode, and gosh, you're going to help me with 24 because my first instinct is 89 Upper Deck Griffey Jr., but gosh, you're you know a lot more 24s, I bet, that could probably be pretty special for this one.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about, like, what's it, Hey Willie or what, Willie Mays, and Jackie
Mays,
Robinson back in the day, those are some huge baseball names. But I think a lot of people they associate 24 with Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe's the one that everybody, and he's the first guy to ever get his jersey retired. I don't know if it's two numbers with any team, but I know the Lakers specifically have 24. So those numbers just come to mind. There's also many other 24s out there, but those. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean baseball, Kobe obviously. There's just it is one of those numbers like you get in the 22s, 23s, 24s, 25s. A lot of people over the years have had that. I guess when we get up to about 47, then we might have some issues.
John Lynch, Tampa Bay Bucks.
First reaction, very good. Proud of you.
There you go
for that one. And I know you're really proud of the event you guys got going on this weekend in the shop here in Gainesville. And gosh, speaking of all those, if you have a Willie Mays or a Kobe Bryant or certainly a Griffey Jr., PSA is coming, so a chance for everybody out there to maybe get some stuff looked at.
Yeah, just like Caleb said last week, he's a gem expert. You got PSA 10s. Maybe you can get a 10 as well. So you can bring stuff to the shop. PSA's put it on their main Instagram page. They've been doing targeting ads. They're sending people from California. We have, of course, our trading day, which is already a busy day in the shop. And then, of course, we added just a little cherry on top with Caleb Dressel. He's going to be there at 1 p.m. So it's a Gator game, LSU weekend. So it's going to be a little tricky, I think, with getting him in and out because he's got to go to the game. I think he might be getting honored or something like that. And we're just excited to have this amount of people. There are food trucks. You could rent a tent for outside and get some, just going to have a lot of fun. Tables and chairs. Hopefully the weather stays nice. It's
supposed to be a beautiful Saturday, so I think you're good.
There we go.
You're good to go.
Thanks for putting that request in for me, Jeff.
Yes, made it happen.
So, excited for this event. I think anybody who is in North Florida, South Georgia, even Central Florida, it's a great time to come and actually talk to PSA. Like so many people, there's so many middlemen that we're a middleman. We're a group submitter, right?
Sure.
So people give us their cards. We then curtail them, package them, send them to PSA. A lot of people don't like that. They want to just, and there's a trust factor to that because there have been some bad, hobby middlemen, card group submitters in the past 5 years, and I've seen the worst of it. So I think it's great that they're here. You can talk to them. You can submit things that you can't normally submit in the shop, like tickets, Funko Pops. I actually bought a collection of Super Bowl tickets recently and NBA All-Star Game tickets, which are unperforated, which is really cool because they run from 2000 to 2009, and a few of them are Jordan, LeBron's, Kobe. So you can get those graded with PSA. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then also oversized stuff. People get photos framed now and graded. You can get, kind of the cabinet cards, things like that graded. So it'll be a fun event. It also will be a very important event because I think they're going to gauge how well it does to how they look at Florida in the future. So come on out, come support it, and it'll be a fun time.
Yeah, so tell all your friends about it. I think that is the biggest part, because I think there's still that, like you mentioned, that trust factor. It's like, I mean, you've held on to this item for forever. You think it's awesome, and now you have to give it to somebody who's then going to take it away, and it's like you're freaking out. So to be able to do that and have those guys there, I know it's a pretty big day.
Also with shipping too, like people always get really just kind of weird about shipping, and rightfully so. This time of the year, you probably don't want to ship much stuff right now. You know what I mean? Because stuff gets lost so easily around Christmas. So I think it's two birds with one stone. You don't have to pay for the shipping, obviously, to them. They're taking it back. And then you have, an Olympic medalist 9 times gold, 10-time total at the shop at 1 p.m. who's going to sign autographs for free for people, which is unheard of. So we're so stoked to see Caleb Dressel in the shop, and he's a big collector. I saw him post on his Instagram the other day. He's going to do a Q&A about collecting soon. So
Sweet. Guys
getting more into it, and it's just fun seeing these athletes get involved in the hobby.
Yeah, speaking of athletes, football season, of course, everybody's got their fantasy teams, and gosh, quarterbacks are some good, some really bad. I saw a stat the other day. There's only been about 50 300-yard games this year, and last year at this point there was almost 100. Wow. So maybe that's not happening as much. So I wonder how that affects the Cards. But then you go back to, gosh, you look at Lamar and Josh Allen, Mahomes, which he's having a crappy regular season. Like, he sucks in fantasy, but I'm sure the Cards are still good. So where are we in the card world for quarterbacks right now?
Well, in the AFC, I think it's like where the hotbed lies right now, because you have so many just young quarterbacks who are doing so well. Mahomes is a great example because people are seeing him win.
Yeah.
The team's still winning. You know what I mean? And so winning does mean a lot in the hobby, I think, and stats are kind of a second subsidiary to value. But when you see Mahomes winning and you see them undefeated in the way they're winning, it's kind of this – there's a lot of hype built around them. So, and of course, the dynasty, could it happen? There'd be a three-peat. But the two guys that I think of in the AFC that are just really smoking hot right now, not because of their maybe because of their looks, but is Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Yeah. These two guys are lighting up the hobby right now. I think it's fun to see always this competition with Mahomes and their values. Lamar, it's interesting to me. He won an MVP last year, and his values didn't really do much. And so, could he win the MVP again? Yeah. But look at someone like Jokic winning MVPs constantly, and his card market is very kind of stagnant. I think for Lamar, he's going to have to get by. He's going to have to make the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Same thing with Josh Allen. I think that's another guy who, amazing talent, arm, had less people this year, less talent, and look at what they're doing. They're running that AFC. Sorry, your Dolphins. The AFC South. But the truth is, he's going to have to make the Super Bowl. And so you can put money into these guys and put card money in, but again, it's so dependent, I think, on the comparative nature to Mahomes. And then you got someone like C.J. Stroud, who hasn't had the best games this year, but his team is winning. I mean, they had a horrible heartbreak loss to Detroit the other week, but people still, I think, are in that rookie class. I think people are clinging on to that because we got the Bryce Youngs, the Anthony Richardsons, and the Will Levises that have really fallen off.
He's
Aiden
the best
O'Connell.
of the bunch.
Yeah, and so I think that people put a lot into those guys going into the season.
Does personality matter? Like guys that, I think, because you think about it, and I know maybe down here in the state of Florida, you don't see a lot of Lamar Jackson commercials or certainly you see a lot of Mahomes and Kelsey and that kind of stuff because that's national. But, maybe it's different in Buffalo where Josh Allen's a thing. But, he's not hyping up stuff. So does that affect the card world if he's not this this guy that everybody's looking at on TV every single week?
Yeah, I mean, that is always a big factor in, I think, anything now, right? So marketability, all those kinds of things. But you do see Mahomes and Kelsey on everything, right? You do see Coach Prime on, Nick Saban on Aflac commercials. You're seeing Pat McAfee, and I think I'm bringing up names of guys whose cards and autographs are worth a ton who aren't playing right now. So I think there's a big play in the limelight. I think with people in the NFL, it's so crazy that some people don't even know what the players look like because of the helmets. Basketball, we know what they look like. Baseball, we know what they look like. NFL, a lot of people don't even know what
they got helmets on.
Exactly. You might know what 4 of the guys look like on your favorite team. So it's one of these things that always goes into when you're investing in cards, looking at cards, holding cards, is what kind of likability do they have. Odell Beckham Jr. is a great example. He's not doing anything right now, but his cards still sell, and I think kids love him. That catch he had propelled him onto the next level. So these kinds of things of certain players that have that kind of fandom. A new guy in the NBA right now. We could talk about the NBA too, but is Yuki on the Grizzlies.
Okay.
He's a backup point guard, like 5 feet tall, but everybody wants his cards because he's this little tiny guy who's kind of like Muggsy Bogues.
He's a new Spud Webb.
He's like, yeah, exactly. I don't know if he can dunk, but he's got some handles. So, I mean, that's that. You kind of see that a lot. And I think when the NBA cards, it's even more so prevalent because of personality and hype.
Well, speaking of NBA, I saw the other day that there was this little kid. He must have been 5 or 6 years old. He's wearing a Wemby jersey, and it's all the way down to the floor. And he's walking out. He got on the court, so somehow right after the game, and he had a Sharpie, and he goes, taps Wemby, and like you could tell he was like asking for his autograph, and Wemby gave him back the Sharpie and took off his jersey and then handed it to the kid and say, this is probably better, and then walked off with it. So,
yeah, that's so cool.
There's a cool personality.
Yeah, I think he's taking the NBA by storm. I think the problem with Wembanyama cards, if anybody is, saying, why is Wemby cards dropping? He's playing better, the Spurs are better. It's because there's so much of it, right? There's so many cards. And I think when you buy Wembanyama, this is a good rule of thumb moving forward, is when you're going after that hot rookie, don't buy the stuff that there's tons of it.
Okay.
Population reports are through the roof, the prism base, and that kind of stuff is very tricky because there's so much of it. Now you get the limited stuff, the numbered stuff, the rare stuff, the autograph stuff. That stuff I think tends to hold better value over time. But I think about the NBA. You got guys like Shea right now, Steph Curry, and Anthony Edwards, cards of guys that are just kind of. LaMelo is another guy that was way down last season. That looking really tough right now. LaMelo hits that shot the other night. Anthony Edwards has a record. I think it's the only. Let me read it off my notes here so I can get it right. There's only 2 players who have made 50 or more threes in the first 9 games of an NBA season, and that's Steph Curry and Anthony Edwards.
Wow.
And so he's on pace potentially to break Steph Curry's record, which you would never think that,
from
right?
him,
like what? So I've been thinking a lot about his cards, and he's uniquely changed his game, I think. Now, if they don't win, that's going to be a problem. But if he does break a record, you're going to see people latch onto that, and there's going to be more excitement buying that thing. Oh, Anthony Edwards can hit threes.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of personalities, I don't know if you saw it with the movie that came out a few years ago with Adam Sandler.
Oh, yeah.
Is the NBA scout, and Anthony Edwards was like the villain guy. But, I mean, he did a great job. It was an awesome movie. And, I think people got acclimated. I think they all hated him because of the way he was in the movie. But maybe he's got to change that. But, he's doing great. And number 1 pick overall. So people got to remember that.
He's got likability, like you said, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The swag and just kind of the fun. Believes he's the best player in the NBA and wants to dunk on LeBron's head, he says. And those kinds of things I think get people excited about a sport. NBA has had a hard bit. This rookie class, this 24-25 rookie class, if I asked you to tell me 5 guys who got drafted in the first round, most people are like,
Sure.
But the first guy can't even say his name, Zachary Rishai Shea, I think is how you say it. Number 1 draft pick, and playing all right, but again, there's not this hype level.
Huge thing. Yeah, maybe Dalton Connect is the one guy because he's on the Lakers
maybe.
with LeBron.
Edie's playing pretty well, I think. There's some names that go in that mix, but it's tough because you go from last year's class with this massive name, and other Brandon Miller's turned out really well as well, to this year. And now I think 24-25 NBA product will be a little lacking. So we'll see how it all pans out. That's great for the collector. I think the boxes and the waxes are cheap.
Yeah.
The singles are cheaper, so I can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, and can't go wrong with the debut patches coming out. Tell everybody about those.
So I know when you were back in the league, you used to have a debut patch when you went to the majors and stuff. This is so for what people who might be collecting baseball cards. MLB debut patches came out I think a couple years ago in this product called Update Chrome. So they never really made an Update Chrome before. They made Topps Series 1, Series 2, and Update, and then they had Topps Chrome, which was pretty much Series 1, Series 2 combined.
Okay.
But now they have an Update Chrome, and they're doing it, and they're taking all of the players that made their debut in this regular season. They affixed a patch onto I think it's their left sleeve, and it's an MLB debut patch. It's a one-on-one item. At the end of the game, they take the patch off, and then they embed it in this card, and they get the player to sign it, and that is their and it's become like their, I would say, rookie logo man, or an NHL Shield card, or these kinds of things that we see in the NFL Shield cards, where it's super, super collectible. And again, you got Jackson Holiday, Ellie De La Cruz, Paul Skeens. Like, think about these names.
Yeah.
You can potentially pull those cards, and I do think we're going to start to see those debut patches go from 5-figure cards to 6-figure cards, which I'm anticipating.
Wow.
Why it's another one? You know what I mean? There's so many players and so many guys in MLB that. Wells, Gill. I mean, just think about all these rookies and stuff that are going to have these cards out. So that comes out this week. Wednesday is the release of that, and I think that's going to take baseball over by baseball collecting, breaks over by. It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
Put me down for a box.
Yeah, there you go.
See what I can get. And then you mentioned Paul Skeens. I think, again, visibility, different things going on. I know probably people knew who he was in a baseball world, but maybe not so much in a football world. And then he's on game day with Livy Dunn, and he's the guest picker. And you got the two of them. And, again, these personalities, I think, just then make it so much bigger. Does Livy Dunn have any cards yet?
She does. Yeah, I know I got you a Selma one, but maybe we need to work on a Livy Dunn one for you. She has autographed cards.
Wow.
I mean, it seems like every influencer female now has a card. The Cavendier twins and Leaf has done a good job in getting these people into market. The Hawk Tua girl. I mean, there's autograph cards everywhere of these people.
Well, they're saying that's why Carson Beck's not doing that good, because he's dating one of the Cavendier twins and she's messing him up. So you just never know.
Yeah, the rumor is Hawk Tua's boyfriend is Sam Darnold.
Really?
Yeah, so that would be pretty wild if that was true.
It would be crazy.
Anyway,
cards are going to skyrocket. All right, well, we're going to have a good time as we continue. Patric Young, a great guest, is about to tell you his story. Gosh, when you look at it from you think about, I don't know, guys in this world. I mean, you look at what happened to Superman and getting paralyzed, and now Patric Young, just a body and specimen, and trying to now get through life with having to deal with a tragedy. But one of the most positive individuals you'll ever meet. Gosh, one of the hardest working guys when he was able to get onto the basketball court. So I think he collects some cards as well. So we'll get to
there we go.
learn about some of that stuff. But we'll take a break. We'll get Patric Young in here to join us, and we'll come back on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
This is Jameel, owner of the Meelypod shop, Gainesville's home for collectibles of all sorts, including every single type of sports cards, whether it be Panini, Topps, Leaf, Upper Deck. We have it. Come on in, get yourself a box, a pack, get yourself some supplies, get into our breaks, get your Pokemon, get your Yu-Gi-Oh! All the other different kinds of TCG products that we carry and shop are always fully in stock. You can find our stuff on our website as well, meelypops.com. That's another way you can interact with the store, or you can just come into the shop. We're located off 39th Avenue by I-75 behind Walgreens and Sonny's. Stop on by. We're open every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can check us out on our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, whatnot, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'd love to see you. Come on out to the shop, have some fun, be a part of the card community here in Gainesville, and always go Gators.
All right, we welcome you back to the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Jeff and Jameel here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, a place where our next guest has frequented, I'm sure, many times. He can eat like crazy, still looks jacked, and he gets after it. Patric Young is joining us. What's up, man?
What's going on? I'm doing well, and yes, I can still eat like crazy.
I know.
Memorabilia and stuff. You got to be special to get one of these.
Yeah,
I believe the exclusive club for former Gator athletes.
You made it.
Yeah, I made it. I made it barely by a hair.
No, you're pretty damn good, and everybody will get to realize that when we talk to you. But let's start with this, because you're going to have no problem answering these questions. Like, you're a media guy now, man. It's how's that world treating you?
It's pretty slow right now. I'm not really doing anything outside of the radio show, which that's every day. That's fun though. I like the radio show because we don't always just, and I like the parts where Zach and I, the Rothrock, where we don't talk sports, or maybe if we do talk sports, it's like the most random thing, and it just keeps us going. But this is kind of a slower time. For me, I'll have my first basketball game as an analyst on the 19th this month. That's through Gator Vision. And then sometime in December, I'll start picking up with SEC Network. And then before you know it, we're in conference play.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's here.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. Speaking of basketball and memories here, I was just thinking back. I went to school from '03 to '08, but then after '08, I stuck around, got a job in town, and you really got to watch Gator basketball, just this amazing run, even post the national championships. And I remember this 18-0 season. I think it was your senior year in the SEC. You guys beat Kentucky. I remember 3 times. Like, did you, like, going back and thinking about that season, did you know something was special that senior year as you were going into that year?
I think there's always, and don't listen to the people that say they don't think about it. Those teams that achieve great things, like it wasn't, but it was not the forefront of our mind. Like, if we would have wrote down goals, like we didn't write down goals because to us it just felt kind of obvious. Like, duh, of course we want to win the SEC. Duh, we want to win the tournament because we hadn't done it before. Duh, we want to go to the Final Four. But I think the disconnect for us was realizing, even though we knew we had potential in a great core, great chemistry, guys liked each other, guys that stuck through it, etc. It's human nature is something that always seeps through. No matter what the situation is, no matter how easy things might seem to be, and human nature tells you to relax. It's just going to happen. You don't have to work as hard. You don't have to. And at first, we kind of had that mindset of like, it's just going to happen. We had all the things we need. So like, why wouldn't this just happen? It's like, this is made for us. And I'm so glad Coach Donovan was able to nip it in the bud for us early in the season and said, you have to put your hard hat on and you have to go to work every day. You got to go to work. And it's not that you have to put in, a profound amount of work. You just got to be consistent and intentional. And that's what not guarantees you success. It doesn't guarantee winning, but it gives you the best chance to achieve your goals when you put that level of work in, understanding that, you get 500 hours of practice a year, 30, 40 games, 35 games, whatever. And then that's it. So knowing that you're on limited, a lease on this year with the guys that you're in the room with, you better make the most of it. You don't want to look back and have regret. So that's the mindset we took on. And obviously we wish we would have won a national championship, but we were the best team in the SEC. First team to go on 18-0, won like 30 something games in a row. Like, I don't remember when the last undefeated season in college basketball, men's college basketball was, but to win that many games in a row, like, it'll be a long time before somebody else does that.
Yeah, no doubt. And it wasn't a ton of NBA guys, too. A bunch of guys that got together, played hard, and grinded like you're talking about. And, so many people, Patrick, think about offense, and they don't, think about defense. It's not sexy, but you made it sexy. I mean, I think that's what was so awesome. And, I still have that pic of you just laying out like Superman and, trying to stop the ball. Where did that mindset?
Trying to get that picture, because I don't have a copy of it, or I don't know if Getty has a good image of it.
Yeah,
I want to get and it's so funny about that time and image. That is the thing people bring up to me the most. Of my 4 years, they bring up that play.
Yeah,
and that play is not sexy. That play, it shows up. It'll just show up on the stat chart as one rebound. It doesn't give you the story. Like, that play epitomizes the will to win, the will to do something. Like, I put through officials, and I didn't travel and I didn't foul, but I didn't care. I was like, that ball is mine. Jarnell Stokes, for two of his main years as the starter, was by far the best rebounder. I would say the best big man. He was better than me. In the conference, but I went through him. I went through Josh Richardson, who's in the NBA now, and there was nothing going to stop me to get that ball.
Yeah.
So I want to get someone to, like, artistically recreate that into something really cool. But I got to get that Getty image. I'll pay whatever the fee is for that.
Yeah, those Getty images, those sometimes they can be expensive. Sometimes if you can find the photographer though, you can work with it. So thinking about that picture, I know you don't have it. We're gonna have to find that one for you. What are some things that maybe you have from back in the day? Any cool memorabilia you got laying around, or even just
actually, Dad, can you bring my quilt? It's in the closet. Yeah, I thought about this earlier. Great question, Jameel. So first I'll, this isn't back in the day. But here's my cards from playing with New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah.
You guys can see that. They're both the same. Here's, oh, something funny about this. Oh, yeah, this look what they wrote. Look what they wrote on the back of my cards. There are many things. There are many players that double up with football and basketball. But there aren't many guys that go out there and can throw volleyball into the equation. Young is one, though the athletic forward from the University of Florida used volleyball as a training method to improve his jumping ability. I don't know who got that information.
But that's not right.
That couldn't be more false than it actually is. That's not it. That couldn't be more false. I did one thing with the volleyball team. We did like a Patric Young versus. I did went out there in the football field with Trey Burton and Tyler Murphy and Cody Riggs, some guys there, and then did something with volleyball. Wish I would have did something with baseball, because baseball was my first.
That's your sport, yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely love baseball. I wish I would have. I wonder, like, if Sully had me out there and I'm like, hey man, let's just pull out the radar gun. If I would have thrown a 94 mile per hour fastball, I wonder if he would have been like, hey big fella,
well, look what I missed out on.
Can you hit a ball too? I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I used to swing the bat pretty well, but also have this. I mean, it's nothing super special, but it's special to me. Signed basketball by Coach Donovan. And with the Chicago Bulls, love that. I have a really cool quilt. Every player after they finish up playing, they have a bunch of extra jerseys just in my closet. It's in my closet. They have a bunch of, jerseys sometimes lying around. They probably already got one frame that they put up, so the other ones are just collecting dust. I had jerseys just collecting dust, and I came across the idea of getting and turn into a really cool quilt. And actually, I think if I turn my video off real quick, it's not on there. At that photo shoot that I was at, I brought the quilt with me, but it's got a bunch of a few of my jerseys on it, some T-shirts in there as well, Gator themed. I'm really hoping my dad can find it because it's really cool. It's probably one of the coolest things. And obviously, I got all my championship rings.
Of course,
can bring those out too. I think they're in the closet in the safe. Just you don't think about bringing them out. And maybe I should have at least one sitting somewhere more convenient. So if I do feel the need to put one on, they're just so bulky, man. They're not practical. So yeah. And I got last really cool story. I don't have the football. The football's in storage, but I was a little boy. My dad and I went to a Jaguars event outside of the stadium. Little boy, maybe like 6 or 7. And there was a football signed by Baselli, Fred, Jimmy Smith, Fred Taylor. For those of you that don't know who Fred Taylor is, you absolutely should know who Fred Taylor is. Who else? And it was a raffle. I mean, there were hundreds of people out there, if not thousands, and won the raffle. We got it.
Nice.
Oh, Dad, hold it up behind me.
Dad coming in clutch. By the way, this is the first interview we've had where we've had a showman as well. So props to Dad for this.
We'll have a showman. Yep. Just hold it up like.
Look at that thing. Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
cool?
That is so
awesome.
cool.
That's sick, right?
That is so unique. Yeah. Look at that.
That's a practice jersey. The blue one to the left. The gray one is a jersey we only wore that one time when we played Tennessee. Uh, the orange ones. I love the orange jerseys. I
Yeah.
love them. I couldn't find the T-shirt that says SEC championship because I would have put that right in the middle. Um, but yeah, the lady that did that, she did a fantastic job. Oh my gosh.
Were those your actual? Or were they replica? Like
No,
actually,
yeah,
or
the real
those are your
ones.
actual game jerseys, huh?
Yeah, actual. Yeah,
That's
I
amazing.
don't understand the science or the chemistry of how that works, but I gave her a box of stuff that I was ready to part ways with, and she came back with that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's special. I hear that and I think like most people like focus on the jersey and they focus on the completeness of it, but that's something that's special to you. You know what I mean?
Special to me. Yeah, absolutely.
That is unique, and you also made a really cool memorabilia piece that you can utilize and show off like you are now, or frame it, or do whatever the heck you want with it. But
Yeah.
it's definitely unique. So props to you for doing something. Whereas a lot of players they just kind of store that stuff away and forget about it.
I think it's something I'll do now because I work with Martin Buckley a little bit too.
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
told
no,
me like
Martin will.
yeah, I'm sure you do. He's the man. I'm sure it's pretty easy to get more jerseys and stuff. And uh yeah, I mean that might be something I just throw in with the golf tournament as a prize or something in the future, people to bid on, auction on. Because yeah, I mean I think it's something. Let me think of my favorite player growing up. If there would have been like a Tim Duncan
Mm.
Spurs kind of thing like that, oh, absolutely, that would be on my bed.
Yeah.
I loved Tim Duncan so much. And then, yeah, and this is something cool that you guys may or may not have known. Travis Taylor was he's a cousin. He's a family member of mine. He is my grandmother's nephew. So yeah, he came and played at Florida. I didn't realize he went like number 7
He was
or
legit,
something.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee, he was and I saw him at the family reunion. He was like, man, I was young, had a lot of money, made some bad decisions, but he won a Super Bowl. Um, but I think if he would have been around maybe had some better leadership or people around him, maybe he could have had a longer career. But the fact that he made it in general is amazing.
Yeah, certainly so. Well, the story of you now certainly amazing. I got hurt, so then in my playing days, certainly not to the extent of what you've had to go through. But I mean, every time I see you, and even just the few minutes we've had so far with you now, there's that smile, man. It's just an infectious smile that I've
Just
always
me
known
picking
you to
on man.
have.
I love picking on you. That's
That's true. But like, just I mean, how do you do it? I mean, there's so many people that obviously would kind of go in the jar and not want to fight and go through some of this stuff.
well. I think one thing that helps me is like I have people that make me look forward to being alive. Like whether they realize the impact in my life that they have, and it's just the relationship of people being loving and kind in general. Things that they don't have to do anything special to they don't have to do anything out of ordinary. And like I get excited going to games, excited going out and seeing my friends and even strangers, because there's just a level of just kindness that is engulfed around my life that makes it a lot easier. Like I don't feel as though every single day is I'm not going to say a 90-degree climb, but a 89-degree climb to get over the hurdle. And I think that obviously would if I felt that way, it'd be a lot more difficult. But
Sure.
I haven't, and just seeing that by showing up, having an impact on people, like I think that is huge. Not only for me, but the people around me that just say, "Hey, man, just keep showing up," because it's not always about what you say, but you have an experience where you felt a certain way positively, like you're always going to remember that. And yeah, if I can keep bringing those experiences out, hopefully they keep me on SEC network for a really long time because I'm going to keep smiling on there even though I'll smile and somehow find a muzzle for Ron Slay, but then I think we'll balance each other out pretty well.
That makes it fun, man. That's what it's about.
That's awesome,
Good old
man.
line.
Yeah.
The key is, just having fun in all this, and I have to echo your answer there, man. I've had so many people come in the shop, Patric, and just tell me about, what inspiration you've been to them, the witness that you've been to them, your life, your testimony, everything that you've been about. And, you have this book, that you came out with, Sit to Rise. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it. Oh, he's got a game card or something there. What you got there?
Yeah. My dad just pulled this out. I don't know what's...
Be some good stuff in there.
It's like a grab bag of.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I saw and I was like, oh, what is this? And this is
It's a Final Four swag bag. It looks like that you have from
bag.
Years ago.
I don't remember this at all.
Look at that, the Gator Country with a big signature. Yeah.
Zero recollection of this.
Hey, well, since you got memorabilia in there, what's your weirdest thing you've ever signed, Patric? You ever had a weird memorabilia piece anyone ever brought to you?
Signed someone's arm before. Signed some kids. They wanted me to sign the back of their cell phone.
Ooh.
That's a status thing right there, though. You walk around school.
But it wasn't. It was in Jacksonville, Illinois.
Oh.
Where it happened, Okay. So I was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Will your parents be okay?" Because I'm like, "I don't think you paid for this phone." Like, yeah, be fine.
Well, Patric, you were in Jacksonville, Illinois. You were the biggest celebrity that somebody ever met. So I mean, that is
that's true.
That's a lot of clout that guy just got, on his phone. But
that's a good point. That's a good point.
But
anything else weird? What have you heard? Because I'm trying to think if there's. Gosh, it's so hard to remember.
Well, there's tons of things people will get signed. It's the body part ones are interesting because a lot of people now are getting tattoos from signatures. That's a big thing, and you see that quite a bit. But we're gonna have to get you to start signing volleyballs, I think. And
yeah. You know what? I can't believe it says that on the back of the card.
I'm gonna have to do my best to find out. Maybe I can because it's a Panini card.
They found a video of me doing volleyball one time and just came to this whole conclusion narrative that they just made up. That and if you watch the video, you'll see that it's like a kind of parody, Patric Young versus volleyball. There's nothing that had to do with training yet, but is what it is.
Yeah, no, I'll do my digging. Maybe I can find the person at Panini who actually wrote that, and maybe we'll get him or she on a FaceTime with you, and that could be a fun moment in the hobby. We'll show the card.
They won't remember writing that.
Well, we can at least say to them, where did this even come from? But we'll try and track him down. But thinking about just cool memoirs or fun memoirs, I mean this book that you had, Sit to Rise. Make sure for those of you listening, go check this out. Go buy this book. I've heard amazing things about it. It's on my list to read. I just really wanted to ask you. I mean, I think about people who write books. You're so young. Your life, your testimony, your witness, everything that you've been about. Your faith, your resilience. What is the message that you want to share? In life, just now and through this book.
I think the easiest thing for people to remember is don't let anyone else write your life story. Don't let anyone or anything else to write what you want your life to be about. And once you figure that thing out, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to just live it. Just do it. You don't need to go through a course to be more loving, to be more kind, you might need a course to be funnier, or something like that. But just be it. Just do it. We're called human beings, not human doings. So just be it's a lot of us absolutely want to make big changes in the world and want to see big change, but like it literally starts with us individually being the light to that path. Like you're not going to be able to change the whole world if you can't even change your own household or influence your own, and then your community, then, expanding that way. So that's be the light.
Yeah. You got to be a part of great groups at Florida, certainly, and you showed the Billy Donovan basketball. I remember the guy that I played for at Florida. You know, we actually called him Bobby Knight and Spikes. I mean, he would get after you, get on you, but like he was a second dad. So I'm sure there's probably some of that from Billy too. Like he would obviously give you everything you need to do to be successful on the court, but probably taught you a lot of lessons too that have helped you be the man you are today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I still think to this day, he does that, you know, in terms of just looking at Coach Donovan's life and the people around him that help him become who he is and how he influences and how he coach. Like even like he and I have called up a few times talking about just Lonzo, you know, Lonzo Ball situation, him trying to get back healthy, 25, 26-year-old that was facing potentially not being able to play basketball again. And the relationship that he and I have had it's been fantastic. Like it's one of those things where tough love, once you understand it, once you understand why they're pushing you, becomes like something you feel as though you wouldn't be who you are without that happening, and you're grateful for it. So I'm super grateful for the times that he's had to give me some tough love, because it changed the course of my basketball career and of my life.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned baseball earlier, Patrick. There was this guy in baseball, Cal Ripken Jr., known as the Iron Man. He had this amazing streak of never missing a game. You never missed a game in your college career, and I was just thinking, you know, was there ever a day, you know, that you were just like, I can't do this, I won't do this, or how did you get the motivation to do that? I mean, 4 seasons. You've mentioned a few things here about, you know, just, you know, being and being present, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I think as a freshman, it's pretty easy when you're a freshman. I think because I wasn't starting, and like I, you know, still had those young knees that didn't need to warm up. You know what I'm talking about? And then as I got older, playing more minutes, that tendonitis started kicking in. You know, I want to say that I did a great job of taking care of my body, but you know, a lot of athletes we're reactive instead of proactive. That would have been the only thing I would have changed. Even though, yeah, I was able to play in all those games, but like, was I playing hurt? You know, not injured, because you know that's what you know that, Jeff. Am I playing like Shohei Ohtani? That dude was playing injured.
Oh yeah.
That man was playing injured out there. I wonder if he made his shoulder worse by trying to go out there and hit. But anyways, yeah, you know, I missed one practice during that time too, and it was my knees were just bothering me so much that Coach John was like, "Hey, PY, I can see you're hurting today, man. Just get some therapy with Duke." You know, I don't want to say that I was lucky because I don't believe in luck, but I was just blessed that I never had, you know, I didn't have a sprained ankle, didn't have an illness that kept me out at the, you know, of a game. I'm trying to think of things that just kind of every athlete, especially in basketball, goes through. Never had a knee sprain, or how about Chet Holmgren the other day, fractured pelvis.
Yeah, and nuts.
Doesn't that just make you kind of? Yeah, I think it was the side of his pelvis, but no. Oh man, I remember my freshman year. Chandler Parsons got kneed in his thigh, like the side of his thigh, IT band area, by Alex Tyus in a game. I've never seen someone's leg, like it looked like elephantitis.
Oh,
how big his leg got. It was black and blue, just like one spot in the side middle of his leg, and the whole thing just. Wow. And then he's trying to get out there and move around. He's like, Duke, I can't. I can't move. Like, yeah, there's no way you can move. Have you seen your leg? Gosh.
Yeah, crazy stuff. And that's the cool part about that. Duke was my athletic trainer for baseball, and then moved over to hang out with you guys in basketball. He always loved basketball.
Now he's the head honcho.
Now he's running it all. Yeah. So, yeah, long career for Duker, which is awesome. All right. Well, this is an awesome part of what we do. We do our Titan MRI rapid fire questions. There's not many that can survive this, so let's see if you can make it through. You up for the challenge?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Well, I had one down a couple, but since you just mentioned Chandler Parsons, I got one on here for CP. You know, he was a underwear model. So if you go back in the day, who would wear it better, you or Chandler Parsons?
I'd wear it better for sure.
You would have. Yeah,
I would wear it better.
You would have got it. All right. Weirdest thing you ever ate playing hoops overseas?
A boiled pig's ear.
Ooh,
You ever had that?
I've not. I've had some interesting food.
Almost an instant throw up.
Really?
And it wasn't throw up because of taste. It was throw up because it tasted like it was like
texture,
eating flesh.
Yeah,
eating
like
ear.
Person, like eating a person again.
Yeah, crazy. That's a great. That might be our best answer.
That is a good answer.
Lithuania.
Okay. What was harder, nailing 2 free throws that year against Auburn, basically right at the end of the game to basically win that game, or the first time you ever had to go on the SEC network and talk on TV?
Ooh. I mean, my interview, the first time, that was hard. I feel like I had more pressure. It was weird. It's weird. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but I just had a feeling with those free throws, I knew I was going to make them.
Yeah.
Like I just knew with how I had prepared that week and just the moment, how that game went, that I was going to make those free throws. I felt extremely confident. But when I did my first interview with SEC Network with Alyssa, she was, man, that was hard.
It is, man. It's scary. You look at like NFL Network now and all these guys that, you know, they put you almost through like a boot camp now to get you to be able to do that and talk.
It's tough, man. Like you're on these talk shows not to listen. That. You're on these talk shows to talk. That's the thing I try to remember. Like, it doesn't matter necessarily always what the person next to you said. Have your ammo ready. Regardless. Like, sometimes you will respond to what the person said, but a lot of times you'll be like, yeah, that sounds good, but look at this, and this, you know? So, but I love that TV is so much quicker than radio. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely is. All right. Golf is a big part of your family. I know you played a lot back in the day. Did you ever get a hole-in-one?
No hole-in-one.
Anything close?
Oh yeah, I've been close.
Yeah,
but you know that's, you know what is close in golf?
That's true.
What is that? It par or a birdie. It's still a par. So, I mean, I put a hole with a ball within like 3, 4, 5 inches. Actually, I played Martin, and Martin will tell you he was there. He witnessed it. We were at Southampton on the par 5. I think it was number 4 or 5. Had a great drive. Then hit my 9, past the green in some deep stuff, and then I opened my club face and I popped that thing up on the green and it rolled in for an eagle. So that was probably one of my best shots I've had.
Got a baby.
Martin was there. He witnessed it.
Yeah, you got a witness. That's what it's all about, Jameel. You got to have a witness.
You have to have someone to validate.
That's a hole-in-one. You got to have someone there for a hole-in-one.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have one of those either. So as much as I get to play, it's tough, man.
Why is it a thing that you know if you make a hole-in-one, you pay for everything and
you buy all the drinks?
Why is that a thing?
I don't know.
Should be the opposite, right?
Started back in the day somehow, but I like it.
I like the idea of celebrating, but what
could get expensive
yes.
for you doing something good. Speaking of good, your sister's really good. Do you ever beat your sister?
No.
Look at that. See, this big old strong guy can't beat a girl in golf.
Well, and this is funny. I was like, Sarah, let's have a chip off. So we did like 7 spots around this chipping green, closest, 2 out of 3 balls closest to the pin wins. Came down to the last one, spot number 7, and it was like a really high steep thing in the steep hill, and the pin was very close to that side. So if you couldn't put it up there with touch, it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put a ball on the green. Just saying that. But she automatically won that one. But she opened that face, popped it up, and it sat. That's like, well, that's why you went to college for that.
That's right. Florida State, by the way. She
Florida
great
State.
golfer. And your dad, we saw your dad earlier holding up the quilt. He was a football player. Actually played for Spurrier. We're in Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Wow.
In the USFL back in the day. And I know you said baseball
Tampa
was
Bay Bandit.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Bandits. Pretty cool, huh?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Got that hung
right.
up here somewhere. No,
Yeah, it's up
yeah.
there. But could if you really stuck with baseball, could you have done that? And why'd you get out of it?
I can't be one to say that I would have gone to the majors. I would have gone pro. I think I would have gone pro. That could be single A
Sure.
baseball. But yeah, I think if I would have stuck with it, man, I stopped playing when I was 17. Part of it was because I was like slacking on my grades. And my mom was not accepting of that. Because I was already committed to playing basketball at Florida at that point too. Like it really wasn't in my mind space to be thinking about playing both sports. And then I came back. I went to Providence my last year and I wanted to play baseball. So I was out there with the team and Coach Martin comes out there one day because his son played baseball. It's the pitcher, Tyler Martin. And he's like, "Hey, Pat," comes out there, gets me to the side for a second. It's like, "What's going on, my man? Like, gonna play some baseball?" It's like, "Yeah, coach, just got this last year, want to play baseball." It's like, "I have an idea. How about we call Coach Donovan real quick and just make sure he's good with it?" And I was like, "You know what, coach, today's gonna be my last day.
I'm good.
I'm
awesome.
good." I was dropping some bombs though. I think I would have gotten drafted if I completed that senior year. I think I would have gotten drafted.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, dropping bombs.
Dropping bombs.
All about. And I find it hard to believe you're saying you were struggling with your grades because you're 3-time SEC scholar athlete, and so that means you got a whole bunch of A's. So what is the worst grade you ever got in college? What class was it?
Statistics. That's so hard. It's so hard. Yeah, I won't name who, but one of my teammates had to retake the class because they did not pass. Yeah, I think I barely got a C. I think I barely got a C there. I never got a D or an F or a failure
That a baby.
anything like that. I didn't think it was, you almost had to try to not, you had to try to get an F by not going to class, not following just not turning assignments in, not participating. If you just participate, it's not asking you to, do some crazy stuff, but just participate, pay attention, be responsible, and you'll be fine.
Yep. So it's all about. I always have people tell me that are struggling. C's get degrees.
C's get degrees.
They do.
So, but
you know what the last place the doctor who finished last in medical school is?
still a doctor.
Still a doctor.
Still a doc.
Still a doctor. How cool? How cool?
Doctor, you would want to perform.
I was going to say.
But, yeah.
I don't know if you want to see that doctor,
Yeah.
but he's still a doctor.
How cool is it to cut down a net, like climb up that ladder and cut that thing down?
I think, gosh, what's the best part of it? It's almost kind of surreal because and it takes so long cutting the net down. I think winning the SEC championship, the tournament, and then bringing the trophy out, the confetti coming down. I think that our fans out there, our cheerleader, like everybody that's a part of the organization, whether working for it, bystander, fan, like just seeing them celebrate with us. I think that's like, because everybody can't be up there cutting it. It's not like you cut the net down. It's not like you really do it as a team. Like each individual person goes up there and cuts a piece of it off, which it's fine. It's just not my favorite part. My favorite tradition, I would say. Like just getting that trophy, celebrating, like getting the hats, getting the T-shirt, like that's it. That's where it's at.
Yeah, it's a feeling for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what's the biggest block you celebrated? Do you remember like a block you just destroyed somebody?
Well, the one where I Bernard James against Florida State, where I stuffed it and just snatched it off the backboard, one-handed, like that's probably one of the craziest blocks I've had. But my blocks went down because I wanted to stay on the court and not foul. So I think I had the most blocks in my career, freshman or sophomore year, and then junior, senior, I just was, I thought you affect the game, in my opinion, so much more when guys have to take bad shots. So like our pick and roll defense was by far the best in the country. That just doesn't show up on the stat sheet in the same way as a block does. But because I was so good and coaches saw that, that their best players couldn't score, that's what got me the Defensive Player of the Year award right there.
Yeah,
their best players could not score, and if they could, they had to work their blanks off to do that.
Yeah. All right. Last thing for you. Mentioned the Slay and the SEC Network. What's that like? Do you guys talk smack to each other off the air? Like you betting on Florida or Tennessee or all these other things?
Slay talk smack.
Yeah.
It's tough when if your team isn't gonna win, do you still talk trash?
You can't.
You can't. But I think Tennessee beat us pretty badly at their place last year. I think we beat Tennessee at home last year. Or
and got Auburn. So
yeah, no, we got Auburn. I don't know what it is. We own Auburn in Gainesville.
Yeah.
They can't win in Gainesville. They just can't. I think if they won a game in Gainesville, I think the basketball gods would end basketball. right there. I think that'd be it. Gosh. No, yeah, I mean, we talk trash. Dari Noka, he's a huge Oklahoma Sooner fan, so I trash talk him during the SEC softball championship or the College World Series there with softball, even though, man, I didn't mind us losing, but a walk-off home run.
Yeah.
That hurt me. That hurt my soul. Peter Burns, he's a huge LSU guy. I can't say anything. LSU basketball hasn't been good in so long. And yeah, they're gonna be average again this year. But Fish doesn't talk trash. It's Ron mostly.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Well,
yeah.
Patric, speaking of souls, man, one of the best souls I've ever been around, and appreciate you joining on this thing. And obviously, the people that don't know you like we do, just know how special of a person you are. So keep it up, and I encourage everybody to check out the book, read it, and just understand what this man is doing and the purpose of keeping it going.
Yeah, thanks, man. We appreciate just the light that you are, like you said.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, that is the. If
you can find that picture for me, that'd be great.
We got you.
We got you. We'll work on it.
100%.
Okay.
All right, great
you.
Patric Young. Back with more of the Meelypod Hobby Podcast right after this. Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans. All right, we welcome you back to the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Jeff and Jameel here with you. Great job with Patric Young, just an amazing individual. Smile is so infectious of even having to go through what he's gone through. He's used it, created a different platform, and he's actually pretty darn good at talking about basketball. So it's he's established himself really well into this world. He's a
dominant force back in the day. You know what I mean? I try to keep my biceps looking like his, but no, he was awesome, man, and it was just an amazing run, and just great talking with him.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, what else is amazing is always the new product that comes out each and every week. This is our wax segment, and I see Jackson Holiday, who. Gosh, that's a weird one because I know how big of a name he was, and then he came up, really wasn't very good for the first one. They sent him back down, and then came back up. They go on a run, but as we were talking about in the first segment, it's almost like some of these guys need to get into more of a playoff run or get to a World Series or obviously a Super Bowl or things like that, so everybody can really understand the talent level.
I mean, it's such a small window, right? When you get that call up or whatever. I mean, if you're not producing in that first 2 weeks, people are like, oh, this guy's trash. You know what I mean? It goes from a god to trash. So this is the update Chrome set that comes out. The debut patches are obviously within this. There's a mega box, jumbo box, Breakers Delight box, and blaster box version of this. But I think it's just a great product to chase some really, incredible cards. Wax in terms of this season right now into the fall, winter time, we always see this kind of, this ramp up on stuff. Panini, Topps, Upper Deck are really pushing stuff. So, a lot of it is going to be tricky, moving forward because there's so many releases. What do you pick? Yep. I've talked to some good, buyers of ours, breakers, who've just said, look, I need a break from some of this stuff. I need a break from breaks because there's so many products. And I understand that. There can kind of be a fatigue in that. One thing I always say when we talk about wax is, pick the stuff that you like, you know what I mean? And be smart with your money and how you buy it. I do think you're going to see, just a lot of favor and a lot of people after these cards. And once the Skeens and the LE and those big debut patches get hit, you might see a little drop in price, but still a really cool product. Some other stuff that's coming out this week. We have the 23-24 Chrome Euro Soccer. So Ronaldo's on the cover, and people love Chrome. So this should be a fun kind of set, with the Euro, teams, and you got a lot of big names in that set. There is the 2024 Impeccable Baseball, which for Panini, it's an unlicensed product, but it's a higher end product. So it's going to be fun. They're going to I think $550, $600 a box. You get one pack. But there's some they put silver bars and gold bars in the cards. It's a really unique a set that comes out. Nice on-card autos as well. Hopefully they're mostly on-card. And then Prism Draft Picks College Football, which a lot of people love. So the 2024 run, which, I'm hopeful there's going to be some cool Lagway cards. I'm hopeful there's going to be, just really unique cards of players that they're doing really well in the NFL right now, or in college right now, as well as the rookie class into the NFL. So we'll see that. That's a fun release. It's a Prism. It's usually pretty affordable. I think they're around $235 a box, somewhere in that range. And I think you get 3-4 autos in a box. So that's another product that great value, a lot of fun. You're not busting the bank on it. And a couple other ones just to finish it out. 22-23 Upper Deck Premier Hockey. Yes, I did say a product from 22-23, which is crazy to think they'd release it so late, but that's what's going on with Upper Deck. You have the Upper Deck Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy set coming out this week, which I know a lot of people are excited about. The soundtrack cards and stuff like that we were talking about. And then lastly, from the TCG side, Pokemon, that release we spoke about last week, has been off the wall. We bought some of the rare Pikachu cards from that, and it was like $300-$400. Those cards are now $600. Wow. So there's something going on with Pokemon and TCG. Lorcana has their next one coming out, so that's the Disney release. It's called Azurite Sea, so that'll be fun to see. But I think you're starting to see a little shift again back into TCG world where you're getting some higher values than you normally were. So this is exciting for me because as a shop, Pokemon brings in so much energy. Yeah. People chase the cards. The kids get so excited when they pull it in store. And so we've had a lot of that already and sold through, probably 100 booster boxes already, and just people just having fun ripping that stuff.
Awesome stuff. And I know you're going to rip through a bunch of things on Saturday. Again, big reminder to head out to the Meelypod shop, actual store instead of the Meelypod.
The Meelypod store.
Yes. And enjoy Caleb Dressel being there, and everything is free. Just tremendous that he's doing that and signing for that. And I know you guys have worked really, really hard throughout the week to be ready for this thing and make it all happen. So
we want to be about community, right? Yep. I mean, that's the way the hobby should be. And I think of this event, if there's any way to encapsulate it, I think it's a collector's, dream event, right? You have the hobby community and trading and buying and selling. Mm-hmm. You have the ability to go grade cards with PSA, and you have the ability to meet, an amazing athlete, get an autograph from him. He has Topps Chrome cards. We're going to have that. We'll have swim caps, but it's just kind of the encompassing of collecting community. And so, we'll see how this event goes, and maybe we mirror this kind of model for the future, and maybe work with PSA and other grading companies down the line too. Yeah. But I'm just looking forward to seeing people out. Hopefully the weather stays nice, and please come on out. If you've heard about this event or you know anybody who's in this area, just tell them to stop by. I think it'd be a lot of fun. It should be kind of in a way a card block party, a hobby block party.
Yeah, well, can't wait. And I know it's going to be awesome. We'll talk about it next week, and we'll have another great guest for you as well. That'll do it for this week's episode. For Jameel, I am Jeff. Have a awesome rest of your weekend.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next Thursday at noon.